Hey, welcome everyone to Lot Size in Forex, what you really need to know. I'm going to just ask you to stick with this video and actually the video series because you're going to really learn some really important concepts. They're simple concepts, but they're concepts that you really need to get down in order to be able to move your account forward, because it all comes down to risk management or money management, okay? And this is the basis of money management. Now, in a previous video, I went a little bit ahead of myself and I basically gave you guys, a delta, trading system, based off of money management where you have a fixed delta and you can only increase your lot size after your delta was met. Now, we're going to go, actually stepping back in this video, we're going to go back to the basics. And I'm going to treat this video as if, you were a brand new position clerk that sat on my desk, because being a position clerk, this was a function that you had to understand in order to calculate position sizes for traders on the desk. See, a position size was based off of global limits. Now, generally, a bank gave you plenty of money to trade. You really didn't have to worry about it, but they had to be watched. Just in case a trader was getting close to his global limit, the position clerk said, hey, you can't trade $10 million on this trade. You can only trade $4 million because you have allocated plenty of money out in the marketplace that you have not taken back in yet. So I will treat you as if you are a newbie stepping in on a trading desk, and it's going to be a lot of fun, and you're going to learn a lot of cool things. I'll probably break this video up into several different pieces. I really don't know how many parts there'll be. There may be 3 to 4 parts of the video series, all depending on how much I can get in per video so that you don't lose interest. I don't want to do an hour-long video on, position sizing and get into, volatility stops versus money stops and have you completely like, oh, this is just totally boring. I get it. You can only pay attention, as far as the information you absorb basically can't be more than like a butt that's getting sore looking at, a video, and you especially don't want to keep looking at my pretty face all day. But anyway, I'm Tom Alonji. I am the CEO of Park Avenue Trading. And before I get into the nitty gritty, I'd like you guys to do me a favor and basically like and subscribe to the YouTube so I can grow my subscribers. And also, it's YouTube likes that, the algorithm, when they get the thumbs up, they seem to really enjoy that. So I'd like to invite you to join my channel, and I promise you I will try to give you as much valuable information as I possibly can. Okay, so let's get into this. Let me get my notes. I have some notes on this because I haven't taught junior traders how to do this in over 20 years. So I have some notes here that some of the things that I'm going to be going over. We're going to first go over the simple concept of allocation of the lot sizes, how you determine that. Okay, and that's simple. Then I'm going to go over in this video how to calculate a stop loss based off of a volatility stop or a money management stop. They're two different things. They both affect the position size, or they affect where the stop is. Okay. The third thing I'm going to go over in this video is how to roll profits or roll losses into the trade itself that you have on. So in other words, a lot of times what I would do as a trader, I'd say, look, I just made $45,000 in sterling yen. I'm going to take a dollar yen position straight. If I don't leg out of the cross, and I'll go over legging in and legging out of a cross in a future video. That's a way beyond the concepts of this video, but I will do legging in and legging out of crosses, or, basically how you can get it across using the components instead of just doing the cross trade itself. It's important because if you want to leg out of something, okay, you're leaving one position on, then you're closing the other one, and you're putting a dollar back into the equation. Again, that's a concept that's beyond this video, but I'll go over how you can calculate new position size, new positions based off of rolling profits in or rolling losses in. Now, the reason why I would do that, let's say I told my position clerk I made $45,000 in sterling yen. and I want to roll in $20,000 of that 40,000 into my dollar yen position. What is my average? So a position clerk would do that for me, and I know that if my stop was hit, I just lost 20,000 out of the 45,000 I made in sterling yen. It's a way basically to buffer your trades, give yourself more room. Okay. However, money management says if the trade's not working out, you really should escape the trade. And again, that's for a different discussion. But in future videos, we'll go over actually the psychological aspect of trading money for a living. And there are a lot of psychological pitfalls. So without further ado, I'm going to pause this video, although you won't know it, and I'm going to write my notes on what I need to say to you as far as the first step in determining what your position size should be and what the function is. So just give me a second and I'll be right back. Okay, position sizing as a function of the account value. This is where we all have to start. Now, I wrote a blog post about this and I made a very bold statement in it. And it's actually very true, or it was true, because I don't know, but it's probably the same. It's probably true. Most bank traders really don't understand money management or risk allocation. So the first thing that I had to do as a proprietary trader at Casa Risparmio di Torino, CRT Bank, was get a good handle on risk management. And what led me to look at risk management as a function was that every massive trader that I knew, Paul Tudor Jones, Bill Dunn, who else do I have in my article? I have Bruce Kovner, Michael Marcus. Michael Marcus took $30,000 and made $80 million with it. Okay, so I mean, every one of these wonderful traders basically had different techniques that they used to make their money. There was not one technique. They're all different traders and used different techniques and different analysis. But the one thing that they had was risk management. They had control of the risk, and they knew when to press on the gas and they knew when to hit the brake. Okay, so I was also introduced to risk management or money management through two of my personal mentors that I actually mentioned in some emails, and it's going to be Burton Page and Roger White. They were both independent traders that had a really good understanding of risk management. They traded off the floor of the Chicago Board of Trade, and they were wonderful. I mean, they made 77% basically every year for over 10 years, or sometimes over 77%. So I understood that risk management was like the magic secret sauce to get me to where I wanted to go. And it was a long haul. So by me giving you some of these secrets, I'm hoping that, it'll catapult you forward. Okay. So the first thing we have to understand is that risk management is a function of how much money that you have to trade with. And I'm just going to use make things simple. Okay. I'm going to say that you have $100,000 to start with. Now, if you don't, that's fine. Everything you have to do is basically just, ratchet everything down, because everything is in proportion to what you have. Okay. So if you have a $100,000 account, you need to sit down with yourself and you need to decide what is actually my appetite for risk. What is my tolerance for risk? And you could say, well, I have $100,000 to trade with, but, I make $60,000 a month. So I have a huge appetite risk, because if I lose that money, I can replace that money easily. It's not going to affect me in any way. Okay. So therefore, you could say that my appetite for risk is large. Therefore, I could base 10% of my trading account per trade out in the marketplace, because if I have 10 losses in a row, I'm done, and I can replace the money. Now, that's a very, very large percentage. So what we're talking about here is the percent that you're going to allocate per trade into the marketplace. So I'm going to tell you that most trading, professors or people in university that study this stuff say that if you risk more than 5%, you're considered basically a gunslinger. Okay, so 5% is a huge amount to risk per trade. Okay, now when I was trading at the bank, I risked 2.5% of my monthly allocation per trade. That's what I did. When I started making money, there's a couple of ways that you can do this. Let's say, for instance, you settle on 2% of 100,000. So that's a $2,000 loss per trade. Okay. Now this is going to be separate than volatility stops or, money stops. So we're just talking about a money stop right now, $2,000. And we're going to go over the math and basically how to calculate where your stop would need to be. But let's just stick with the idea. You allocate 2% of whatever your capital is, and you're going to use that per trade. Now, there's something that's known as a base equity method and a core equity method. I may be getting them confused. It's been a long time. But anyway, one basically says that, okay, as your account increases, you will use 2% of the value of the account. So let's say you go from 100,000 to 110,000. Well, you're going to use 2% of 110,000. Now, there's a core equity method that basically says that 2% is 2%. That's it. Doesn't matter how much money you make. Doesn't matter how much money you lose. So if you go down to 90,000, you're still doing 2%. Now, the other one would be like 2%. The base method would be like 2% of 90,000, $1,800. So you'd be ratcheting your stops down. So this is all part of the menu that you could use for money, the beginning of money management or risk management. The definition of risk management is, it's not diversification. Okay, it's not controlling your own internal risk factor, which is important. It's basically telling you how much you can trade. What's the size? That's all it's saying. So the first thing that we covered right here is a percentage of capital that you are comfortable with for your appetite for risk. What percentage is going to be? 1 to 5%. Anything over 5%, you're absolutely cuckoo. I would suggest if you're a newbie, you use 1%. Now, you may be saying, well, wait a second, I only have $1,000. Well, yeah, that's fine, because you're going to be trading nano lots. And we're going to go over lots too. I guess we should go over lots in this video first before we go any further. But, okay, so we got that down. Let me bring lots into the example. Okay, so lot size. A standard lot is 100,000 units of a currency. Okay, now if you have a $500 account, you cannot trade standard lot. You just can't. I mean, if you went to do it, you'd be wiped out in a couple of ticks that would move against you. What you need to understand is that there are other lots that are available to you. You have a standard lot if you have $100,000, you can trade standard lot. And you're not even going to trade many standard lots with 100,000 because you're going to be using 1-2% of whatever your account balance is to determine your stop. Okay, to determine how much. All right. So if you're using 2%, 100,000 is $2,000. You really can't trade, large lot size. You can't trade 10 lots. That's $1 million. 20 ticks against you, you're wiped out. 20 ticks can happen like that in Forex. So you also have what's known as mini lots. And a mini lot is 1/10 the size of a standard lot, so it's $10,000. Then you got a micro lot, which is 1/10 the size of a mini lot, which is 1,000 units. And then you got what's known as the nano lot. Okay, it's 1/10 the size of the micro lot, which is basically 100 units of a base currency. So don't get caught up. This is not, I don't want people to start thinking like this is like weightlifting, like you need to go to the gym and you just start lifting 500 pounds at once. People don't realize that, weight is weight and it makes no difference what the weight is that you're pushing. Okay, it all depends on how much you can do and you slowly add to that. So if you can only trade nano lots, that's the reality. This is not, a pissing contest. You don't have to. You just keep your trades to yourself and you just keep moving along. As long as you're advancing your account, you're going to be fine. Okay? So we went over lots. Now, I guess I'm going to have to switch really quick to calculating a stop loss for the position size. And I'll use a standard lot to do this. and I'll use a white sheet to do it. So I have to go type that up, and then I will end the video on this, and then we'll take it up. I'll take up the rest in video 2.